Oh, yes, right in here. Right there to the right. Are you talking about the public hearing notice?
Here we go. Yeah. There we go.
Hey, turning on the mic. I feel like it's been a Monday. And this one- You got sparkle going.
I'd like to bring to order this business meeting of Urbana School District 116 at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, September 17th. Roll call, please.
Member Stanton, Member Jones,
Here.
Member Hickson,
Here.
Member Baxley,
Here.
Member Langendorf here, Vice President Exum,
Here.
President Pulowski.
Here, there is an amendment to tonight's agenda, and that is we're removing item 12.2, that is the PE waiver. It will be on the October 1st agenda, accompanying a public hearing on the matter.
Can I
Again.
ask why we are moving it?
We're moving it to October 1st because we need to have also a public hearing. We put public notices in the paper, but we forgot to add it to the actual agenda, the public hearing section. So we're going to wait until October 1st so we can discuss it tonight, but we won't be voting for another 2 weeks along with a public hearing on the matter. And I think that's the only correction to tonight's agenda. So let's move on to citizen statements. If anybody wishes to make a statement before the board, please fill out a goldenrod sheet at the back of the room and hand it to our recording secretary, Lori Johnson. First up is Clara Ehrenhardt.
My name is Clara, and I am a second grader at Yankee Ridge. I know I would like to have PE 3 times a week, and I think other kids would like that too. I like PE because where am I? Because it is fun. Having another PE will let us burn off more energy and focus in the classroom. Also, we have to follow the rules at school. The state says that the state says we should have PE 3 times a week. So I think you should follow the rules. I hope you decide to let us have PE 3 times a week.
I am discouraged that the district chose to roll out a new curriculum that does not allow them to meet state-mandated standards. Not only is this district applying for an exception to the 3-day PE rule, but several classrooms are violating the state-mandated recess time. At Yankee Ridge, I know there are classrooms not meeting state requirements for recess by either giving less than 30 minutes of recess a day or providing recess in periods of less than 15 minutes. Both are in violation of Illinois law that requires a minimum of 30 minutes daily supervised, unstructured, child-directed play for students kindergarten through 5th grade and play periods of at least 15 consecutive minutes in length. This is not a teacher problem, but an administrative failure in rolling out new schedules that have such rigidity. It makes it difficult to comply, and as the district even acknowledges in the case of PE, impossible to accommodate state laws. I understand that PE has been 2 days a week in Urbana for years. Whether it was they had a previous waiver or they had just been non-compliant for years, I do not know. But our students' academic achievements are only going to continue to suffer when they are not provided the opportunity to move their bodies during the school day, resulting in built-up energy and classroom disruptions, harming all our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Julia Hockenmeyer.
Hello. Hi. I'm also here to talk about PE and recess and lunch. I'm really glad to see that you actually have now an explanation here in the back of the room about why you're applying for this PE waiver. I really think you should communicate that with the community. There's been so many rumors about, oh, the schedule has changed now compared to last year. But actually, as a parent, I have no idea what the schedule used to be. Right? I barely know what the schedule is now, right? I'm used to school systems where for how many minutes or hours a week students in each grade are supposed to spend on math, on reading, on PE, and so on. Right? It would be really, really helpful. It would really help with trust community if that was publicly available. Right? I don't understand why, as was just said, right? why we are, adapting a curriculum, which I'm really glad about. I'm really glad that the teachers don't have to cobble together their materials anymore, right? Kudos to you, thank you, right? But we've seen that this helps in math. I really hope that we're going to see the same thing with reading. This is great. But it sounds like that this is being used as an excuse for why our kids have to rush through lunch, right? My daughter comes home, she says, oh, I didn't have time to finish my lunch, right? Because the USDA, right, so this is just a recommendation, it's not a law, but the USDA recommends children to have 20 minutes of sit-down time after they have received their lunch, right? I believe, so here, this might even be in print now, they have 20 minutes lunch total, right? And then there's 25 minutes recess, right? At the elementary level, that is against state law. But the Illinois school code requires 30 minutes of PE time per day, right? It can be broken up into 15 minutes. PE does not count, but it needs to be unstructured playtime. If we have to apply for a waiver for this, right? If for some reason we have to because of union, contracts or whatever, right? I really like to understand why. I'd really like to know what our children are getting instead. So, and I'd really like to urge the school board to insist on this information being available publicly and being communicated to the community, because I think that would help a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. The last sheet I have is for Jen Straub. If anybody else wishes to make a statement before the board, the goldenrod sheets are over there. Please fill one out and hand it to Lori Johnson.
Hello, I'm Jen Straub. Typically, I try to stick to my own section of local government, but it is important that kids move, and they are not moving enough. I am sure there are many logistical reasons for limiting PE in our schools, but what I'm going to say is chop chop at the top. We need kids moving in our schools. Currently, my elementary kid is in a school where there's a push to spend every available minute on curriculum, and it's limited recess time significantly. What we know from a wealth of knowledge with both of my educational degrees, which happened 20 years ago and still hasn't changed. The research says the same thing about play and about physical movement that it said then. Kids need to move their bodies. Kids need unstructured playtime. They need structured playtime. And at some point, instruction is not going to land with these kids. They're not going to be able to accommodate that information if they're not able to move their bodies and reset. Their attention spans aren't going to be there. Their impulse control is not going to be there. Right now, the move to Yankee Ridge means my student no longer has access to the playground in the morning before school or after school, which was a big part of their day, because it's not considered safe, which is the whole other thing. So standing in line in the gym is somehow a better use of their time. My elementary student has some significant learning issues that would be helped by more activity, and I know that those issues are also issues that many of her peers share. They need to move. Kids need to move. I would strongly urge you to reconsider, to find other places to spend your money so that we can get the resources we need to get our kids moving. I have so much more to say, but that's where I'm going to leave it for today.
Thank you, Jen, and thank you for your service on the county board as well. Anyone else wishes to make a statement before the board? Last call. All right, thank you. Moving on. There is no call for an executive session after this session, so the chair will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda as amended.
I move for approval with the amendment.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have an agenda. There are no accommodations or recognitions tonight, so we can move on to the student ambassador report.
Can I ask a question before we start, or not? I'm wondering, since some parents came because they thought this was part of the open forum to talk about the PE issue, and they thought that their comments would be part of the waiver process. I'm wondering if we could include these parents' comments as part of that waiver process, even though this wasn't the open meeting for it. I mean, you
Anybody who wishes to have their statement compiled as part of the petition, that's placed to the state can do so via email if they
Okay.
ask for that. If they put in their email, please add this as part of your submission to the state. We can
Okay.
make sure that happens.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, student ambassador report.
So this is just table of contents. You can move on. I think so. Hello? Okay. Oh, there we go. Oops. Okay. You can move to the next slide. Okay. So oops. This first slide. Anyway, this was first brought to me by Habitats for Humanity at the high school. They have had a fundraiser for quite some time that involves a volleyball game between juniors and seniors, and then whoever wins that game goes on to play against the staff. This year, they are being told that they are not allowed to have student versus teacher, student versus staff game anymore, and this is just like very upsetting because they have had this fundraiser for a long time. It's a great source of pride for the seniors who usually win, but also for the staff who think they still have an athletic bone in their body. So they were just wondering if there could be an exception to this rule. The teachers, they're not very old. They know what they're signing up for. Most of them do this for a long time. They also look forward to this tradition. And they just want to be able to still put on this fundraiser and this fun tradition. So, yes.
So, Sitlali, I'm glad you brought this up. So we've been talking about this a lot this year. So I'm going to let Dr. Franklin talk about it a little bit.
So the reason we put a pause to the student staff games, we had kickball games in elementary school, things at the middle school and high
Soccer.
school, yes, is because of the large increase in our workman compensation claims. And so if somebody were to get hurt, the district was liable for those injuries, and we had very significant increases from the past 3 years. And so the previous chief financial officer had recommended that we pause that. I was also in agreement just due to the number of staff injuries, which did also include from these athletic events. However, we do understand the importance of these events because it builds building community. It fosters a positive culture and climate, and helps kind of the student morale and overall experience in our schools. So we've been working with our district attorneys on coming up with a waiver for both students and parents to sign, and also for our staff members to sign, so that it's completely voluntary, it's outside of the school day, and injuries that may occur are on the individual and not a liability to the district. So this is to be continued. So I would anticipate that we're able to have that volleyball game. So you can report some good news back.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh, you're so excited about that.
Excuse
Okay.
me, when is it supposed to happen?
It usually occurs around like late November-ish. Yeah. Okay. Metal detectors. So in the morning, there are several MTD buses that drop off students off of race streets. In earlier years, there was a metal detector at door 3 that was able to get these students into the school that way. But as of recently, it is no longer available, and only door 1 and door 3 are open. I met with Mr. Guzman, and he said that as of right now, he can't open door 3 because of the number of metal detectors that we have and security funding that the high school is given. So just wondering if there was a way that, I don't know how much they cost, but if there was a way we could possibly finance to get another one. I know that would help the MTD students a lot, especially when it's in the winter and it's very cold and they have to make the walk to door 1 or door 3 through the snow and other things as well. But also just like the employees who are at door 1 who have to account for the huge influx of students who have to go through door 1 because they can't go through door 3 anymore, and it's very stressful trying to accommodate all that and try to get the students to class on time because of the huge number of students. So yeah.
So we talked about this at our district crisis meeting, at our last meeting. Tori was there. John unfortunately wasn't able to attend that one. So, and I think Mr. Guzman, and I'm sure, I don't know if he shared this with you, but he's not opposed to opening door 3 again. We just need to get more equipment there. So
Yeah.
right now, we don't have enough batteries to
We-
open it up. So have you guys worked on that?
Yeah, and I talked to some of the high school staff earlier today and yesterday. I know Mr. Guzman's been.
Yeah, he
out
had a
with a
family
family
emergency, so
emergency.
he wasn't there today.
Yeah,
so-
and so the original reason that we stopped utilizing door 3 wasn't because we didn't have enough detectors. It was because there wasn't enough staffing, and that door wasn't as easy to kind of control the flow of people. The door 9 and door 1, you come in and you kind of have to go through where it is. Door 3 required an extra person to kind of be down on the landing, so students couldn't go out on either side of the stairwell there, and they had to kind of come up through the top stairwell. So it wasn't so much a detector issue as it was a staffing issue. So I talked to them earlier today, and they still are kind of don't have additional staffing to open up another door right now. The other issue is that door 1 and 9 have kind of people coming in at a regular flow throughout that morning time. Door 3, when we did have it open, there would be basically 0 people, and then all of a sudden there'd be 300 people, and then 0 people, and it wasn't really easy to staff and manage the flow of students through that door. So that's kind of the reasoning. We do have additional detectors right now. All of them that we have are functioning and working. There were some missing batteries. We've ordered another set of batteries, but really the staffing is the bigger issue.
But he did tell me when we talked about your report, he said that he's not opposed to reopening it. So I think maybe if you and Valentina talk to him about it again, it sounded like he was willing to discuss it. Especially, I think the point about winter is a really good point. And, you know, so, yeah, it sounds like something we could continue to discuss, so. Yep, yeah.
Right, sorry. Hispanic Heritage Month recently started this past Sunday, but the PTSA helped put on an event to celebrate it on Saturday, September 7th. And the Ballet Folclórico de los Tigres was also there from Urbana High School, and they put on a wonderful performance. So, yes.
And I want to brag on Sitlali. I did not realize until I went to our first home football game that Sitlali is one of our drum majors. Did you guys know
Yes.
that? Yay, she's one of our drum majors this year. So were you one of our drum major award winners?
Yes.
Yay. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. You did not brag on yourself. So I
Sorry.
did not know until I was at the football game.
Well, you'll probably see a lot of like mentions of marching band just because of that.
Because
so.
of that.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Thank you. Okay. And then special surprise, you probably already know, but the Illini football players Pat Bryant and Kenana Odeluga visited the King School on the 4th, so 2 Wednesdays ago. and they were able to talk to students, handed out school supplies and gift cards for the students, and I bet the students felt very appreciated. So yes, that's all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I should say that Valentina did, she had an away volleyball game tonight. So they're playing Peoria Manual tonight. That's why she's not here.
We have a trio of administrative reports tonight. First up is our kindergarten transition report from Kelly Allen.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Allen. I am the kindergarten transition coordinator, along with family engagement in that title. I've been in the district since 2008. I started at Yankee Ridge as special education teacher, and then moved into this role 4 years ago. So in this presentation, I will go over a few things about what I do, what my role consists of, what the kindergarten transition teacher roles and responsibilities are, and then I'll go over some current kindergarten screening data. So there are several areas of which I support throughout the schools. They're in no specific order. They're not in any ranked way, but they are in orange. The first one I'm going to go over is academic support. So I push into all kindergarten classrooms to support the kindergarten teachers and assist with classroom management, classroom routines, and set and model expectations. And some of those routines I have listed, like lining up in a line, transitioning from seats to carpet, what does sitting at the carpet look like, raising hands, moving throughout the classroom, using supplies, walking in the hallway, peer interactions. Those are what I like to call soft skills. So they're not necessarily content academic based, but they are skills that we need to be functioning citizens in our classrooms. And so we really try to focus on some of those soft skills, especially at this point in the year. I also observe students to identify those who may need additional academic or behavioral support. I create a weekly schedule to provide additional academic support to groups of students daily in all the kindergarten classrooms throughout all of our elementaries. And we work on improving those kindergarten readiness skills, such as name recognition, name writing, letter recognition, letter sounds, number recognition, number writing, and rote counting. Another area that I focus in is kindergarten teacher support. So I attend kindergarten grade level meetings, the collaboration meetings throughout the week at all the buildings, as well as district levels to provide support to teachers, problem solve, and provide suggestions for academic and behavioral needs. I have facilitated professional development at the district level on phonemic awareness. I have provided instructional support through the use of peer-to-peer and observations, video reflections, targeted focus, and areas and planning. And I also share resources with our kindergarten teachers through a Google Drive on topics such as academic skills, kindergarten readiness, behavior support techniques such as check-in, check-out charts, picture schedules, task strips, individual incentive charts, as well as fellow teacher example and lessons and instructional activities. Another area that I work in is kindergarten transition, and this is really multifaceted. So just to name a few things that I do, and it ranges all year round from fall to spring. Fall is a heavy time, spring is a heavier time, as we're kind of onboarding our new incoming kindergartners. And in the spring, we'll screen our new ones as well. But we completed kindergarten screening on all kindergarten students in order to get a baseline snapshot of individual student kindergarten readiness and skill levels. Review screening data with classroom teachers and kindergarten teams. Our data is then used as a tool to assist with balancing classrooms and gives classroom teachers a point for academic instruction in student groups. I also collaborate with kindergarten transition teachers in each building to discuss kindergarten classrooms in their buildings, share ideas, problem solve, and plan for supports as needed. Also with kindergarten transition, I attend all the kindergarten transition meetings at Urbana Early Childhood School and Head Start, and then take notes and share those with the school teams. I observe incoming kindergartners at Early Childhood School and Head Start in the springtime. And I assist with planning for all of the kindergarten open houses at all of our elementaries in the spring. Another big piece to my job is the kindergarten registration. So this is from start to finish. Create flyers each year for kindergarten registration events. We translate them into Spanish and French, and then distribute those throughout all of our elementary buildings, our early childhood school, Head Start, neighborhood daycares, private preschools and centers. And then those are examples for the English, French, and Spanish ones that I've done this past year. Organize kindergarten registration events. In March, we do kindergarten registration at early childhood while they're in spring conferences with the families. I have a table set up there, both Thursday and Friday. I do a Head Start registration in March for their spring conferences as well. I have a bigger registration event in April at Lincoln Square Mall, which is open to the public for any incoming kindergartners. And then a new registration event I did this past year was at Orchard Downs. Hannah King reached out to me from their facilities, and we jointly planned a open house night there for registration and kind of a parent information night. And then July at centralized registration. And the point of all those registration events is to set up the community overall several months, just to give more points of access to registration in different neighborhoods in order to register as many as we can, so we can better prepare for what's coming in for our teachers and families. The family engagement part to my role, I get to prepare handouts to give to families during family engagement events such as Jetty Road, Champaign-Urbana Days, and Read Across America. And those are resources that I share with families throughout the year, not just at those events, but they're readily available in all 3 languages. I have a kindergarten frequently asked questions, You're on Your Way to K handout, and several others. I provide families with materials and supplies to practice academic skills at home, and I work with the Director of Communications and Marketing to update and maintain the kindergarten webpage. One of the fun events I get to do every summer is the Kindergarten Readiness Camp, and this past year we did a first grade Jumpstart summer program. So to do that, I collaborate, plan, and organize for Kindergarten Readiness Camp and the summer program. Again, I create all the flyers, letters, and permission slips that go out to the teachers and families. The Kindergarten Readiness Camp flyers, and then the Jumpstart is a teacher recommendation program this past year. So I did letters to the teachers to have them recommend names to me of students that were lower performing and needed just a kind of boost to get them through the summer into to their first grade year. And then we did invitation letters to the families, and then overall Jumpstart flyers. I also collaborate with First Student for bus service for both camps. Collaborate with Quest Food Service for breakfast and lunch for the week. I also collaborate with our district nurse to provide allergy plans and the nurse schedule for the week of camp. Maintain student registration and attendance records, prepare the job postings, and facilitate the hiring for certified and non-certified staff for both camps. I collaborate with payroll and human resources to ensure for proper payroll processing. I prepare a staff handbook and facilitate a training the week prior to camp. And then I am there to supervise both camps for the whole week that we had it this summer. So the purpose of Kindergarten Readiness Camp is to provide students and families with resources and tools to prepare for kindergarten. The camp is open to all incoming kindergarten students. However, students with no prior school experience will be targeted to ensure the skills and strategies needed for kindergarten development are accessible. A little bit of data. So I've run 3 camps so far. So just a little bit of data from each summer that we've had it. In 2022, I had a 4-day half-day camp, and overall 23 students were registered with 1 classroom, 1 teacher, and 3 support staff for that classroom, and then some demographics for that week as well. For 2023, I did a 4-day camp with longer day from 8 to 2:30. With 37 students registered, and we split those into 3 classrooms. Each classroom had 1 certified teacher and 1 support staff per room. And then of my 3 certified teachers, 1 of our teachers was a Spanish dual language teacher. And then this past summer, we did add that first grade jump start, and we wanted to make our program longer. So we did a Monday through Friday camp right before school started versus at the end of the school year. We did that 5 days, 8 to noon. I had 32 students registered for kindergarten readiness camp, 3 classrooms, 1 teacher, and 2 support staff per room. And then of those 3 certified teachers, I had 1 Spanish dual language teacher. And then first grade jump starts. The purpose of the first grade jump start program is to prepare incoming first grade students with the foundational skills they need to be successful in first grade. Students whose current data shows they need additional support to be academically prepared for first grade will be invited to participate for the first grade jump start program. And then once our numbers were pretty solid through the teachers, we did open that up to the public this past summer, so we had more than just the teacher recommendations, and it was just a family question as well. So for first grade jumpstart for first year, we had 34 students registered into 2 classrooms. I had 3 classrooms ready to go, but a teacher had a conflict right before it started. So we made those 2 classrooms, 1 certified and 1 support staff per those rooms. And of those 2 teachers, one of those was also a English as second language teacher. I oversee kindergarten transition teachers. I have 1 per building. They do receive a stipend for this position. At the end of the year, they reapply. They're interviewed again and gone through an interview process for that. And the summary for their role is to create a smooth transition for kindergarten students from the Urbana Early Childhood School, Head Start, home daycares, and et cetera into our kindergarten classrooms. So I'll go over a little bit about what they do. They assist with transitioning students into classrooms during the school year, including being in the classrooms when students arrive, helping students separate from their families, reassuring students and families, answering family questions, and being a familiar face to students. They also provide resources to kindergarten families at various district events, such as back to school nights, open houses, curriculum nights. For kindergarten registration, we set up informational tables during spring conferences to give them some heads up about registration coming in, what they need to register, how to prepare, doctors, medical forms and whatnot. We have countdown calendars that we give them, school-specific information. Each school has a FAQ for their buildings, so they have more specific, detailed information. And then that transition teacher is that contact for each school, kind of a face for them to put to their building. They also attend and work their respective school tables at kindergarten registration in April, assisting with screening and family interviews. A few more roles that they and responsibilities. They assist with kindergarten screening in the spring, which we complete in the fall. They enter the scores from each screening into a data spreadsheet, and then they share those scores with the kindergarten teams in their buildings. They host a kindergarten open house in the spring, and they provide students and families with books and materials to help prepare them for kindergarten. And they attend quarterly meetings with me to discuss current supports and services, curriculum questions, and problem solve. And the intent of our meetings is to assist with enhancing kindergarten growth and success, to see progress as our young learners develop over time, not only within our academics, but as our social emotional learners as well. A little bit about our kindergarten screening. Right now we screen for literacy, math, and name writing. So for literacy, we have a couple different activities that give us a baseline for letter naming, upper and lowercase letters. They go over letter sounds. They're tested on their phonological awareness, and that's specifically rhyming and through early literacy behaviors, which is them handling a book. Where do I start reading? Where do I go next? Find a word that starts with M. What's the period at the end of the page stand for? And just kind of take some notes on how they just physically handle that book. Math, we go over oral counting, number identification, one-to-one correspondence, and number writing. And then we have them write their name out, and we're looking for if they're using capital letters, lowercase letters, is it mixed? Do they write independently? Do they need to use a model? How do they hold that pencil? All of those scores go into this scoring assessment rubric, and it kind of guides as to where they fall, what numbers they get, what average they get from that. And then we have a literacy overall, a math overall, and then we have an overall screening score. This year, this is kind of the last cohort for this data. I'm going to create a team of our tier teachers, our curriculum implementation teachers, and kind of realign our screening to what our CKLA is enforcing. So our screening will be more effective, more efficient, kind of more aligned in what we're doing. So I hope to start that this winter, and then in the spring for our new incoming kindergartners, we'll have that new set of data. So the next 6 slides are our current screening data from this past year. So they were screened again in April or May. They were screened over the summer at registration. And then the ones that we couldn't catch or didn't register ahead of time, we screened them within the first 2 weeks of school. So this is out of a total of 275 students. Right now our total number is, I think, 297. So the ones that just came later, we didn't get to screen them all. There are some kiddos that just cannot screen. We have nonverbal friends that can't screen. Some weren't screened for behavior purposes, just a variety of reasons, just not all of them are there. But 275 out of 297. So overall, the green is our students that are scoring above kindergarten readiness level. The yellow is our middle group that is meeting our expectations for kindergarten readiness, and the red is a scoring range of students that are performing below. And then I have one for each school broken down. Dr. Williams, again, no order, there's no ranking here. The scoring range, only 5% of our Dr. Williams kindergartners are in the above average, 26.3% in the meets in yellow, and 68.7% are in the red. Thomas Paine's screening data, 27% in green, 25.3% in yellow, and 47.5% in red. Dr. Martin Luther King screening data, 12% of our friends are in green, 29% are in the yellow, and 59% in red. Leal's screening data, 28% in green, 38% in yellow, and 34% in red. Yankee Ridge's screening data, 16% in green, 40% in yellow, and 44% in red. And that's that. The Yankee Ridge data is screened in Spanish. Our French is screened in English, and the Spanish speakers speak, they have a Spanish screening that matches the English screening. And that's it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Board members, Ambassador, any questions?
I have one observation. And Leo is a typo. That's a Rantoul.
It's just saying range. It said Rantoul.
Oh, thanks. Sorry.
And I have another question. So in Yankee Ridge, you were screening for pre-kinder last summer,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the kids who are now in the Duolingo program and in the French program.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if the screening data is used to do any type of personalized, like learning for the kindergartners. I know you said you shared it, but
Sure.
is there some special things that are being done to address
Mm-hmm.
those students?
So at all of the transition meetings I attend in the spring from early childhood, I have an idea of who's coming with IEPs. Otherwise, the kids that score in red, we kind of flag. We use this as a tool to help balance our classrooms based on a variety of demographics. And this is only one small piece to that balancing agent. But in terms of our kiddos that are being flagged, we do make notes on the screening sheet just from the mere 20 minutes that we're with them to do the screening. Just, observational notes, data taken, and then those are shared with the teachers, maybe more support given for this one. All of our kindergartners coming in from early childhood also have a transitional page coming, whether or not they receive an IEP. They have a transition pathway page that the teachers get at the start of the year to give them some more information on teacher time and support needed as well.
And then I know the kindergarten readiness camps are short, but is there any like longitudinal data that is done on those students just to track whether they're any better in any
Yeah,
of the?
we just started looking at that in groupings, but it's not in any sort of form to shape yet. But we have started having those conversations as well. Yeah.
I know one change we made this year is we used to do those camps in June.
Yeah.
And this year we said, how about we try it in August to see if they you know, like
Trained
if we do
better.
it in June and they've got
Yeah.
weeks and weeks and weeks
Right,
and
if it
weeks
sticks
before
a
they
little
come to
better, right.
school. So we said
Yeah.
this year, let's try it in August and then they come to school in a week and hopefully they retain a lot of the information that they learned that week and they're more prepared for school. So we're hoping that we're gonna see a little bit difference. I don't know if you felt like you saw a little difference,
I
Kelly,
think
like
it's
were
those
they
soft
more
skills.
ready?
Yeah,
Right,
it's those soft skills that I was talking about. This, you know, what is school? How do I sit? How do I sit next to a
Yep.
friend? How do I have any of those conflict peer management skills? That's what we're seeing. I mean, the academic focus is not intense at that point, right? We're just kind of coming into a whole new world of what kindergarten is. So we do see a little bit of those friends like, oh yeah, that guy was in camp, he knows to wait his turn, and so we're seeing a little bit more of that.
Are you finding that the transitional teachers are having any challenges with like implementing the plan at all, or?
And yes and no. It's hard, just staff is short, right? The TAs, the support needed is not always in place. And kids are coming in with some intense needs, and that's just where we're at with struggle. Yeah, the plans are there and they're being followed through. It's just a matter of the staffing to help support those plans. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Jennifer.
I was happy to see that you had, and I didn't realize it until I met with Sherry, but that you had two transition teachers at DPW and two at Yankee Ridge.
The
And-
transition teachers, this year, we only have one per school this year. They're allowed to have two and split that stipend. But for this current school year, I have one per building.
Oh,
Yeah, we only
okay,
have
so
5
you
total.
don't have,
On the sheet, you had two names that you,
yeah.
For
that
the
you,
kindergarten transition
Yeah,
teachers,
yeah.
I have one per building this year.
it wasn't listed on, there were two different names for Dr. Williams and two for Yankee Ridge. It was one of your attachments that you had.
Okay, yeah, it's
Okay.
one per building. They just didn't reapply, or they just got switched. The two that I had at Williams, one got moved to Yankee Ridge, and then the two I had at Yankee Ridge, they split, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then, does the, kind of changes my question, does the transition teacher who is at Yankee Ridge speak either French or
She's
Spanish?
Spanish speaking.
Is
Yeah.
Spanish speaking,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And did I hear you say, or did I misunderstand, do these teachers have to reapply every year for this
Yeah,
position?
because it's
Can I
a
ask
stipend,
why?
so that's our contract language. That way it opens that position up to anyone that wants to apply for that. It's not necessarily a kindergarten teacher. This year I have 2 classroom teachers and 3 tier teachers as transition teachers. So
Okay, and tier teachers, are they the new term for special ed teachers?
they're not special ed, no, they are teachers that provide instructional and support through all the classrooms.
Okay, so
Yeah, they're not
like
our, not our
title
special ed
teachers, or
teachers.
what we used to call, is
Right.
that, like
Not
Title
yet.
One? They're not
No,
title
yeah.
either. Okay,
co-
they're just special teachers, not classroom teachers necessarily.
They're co-teachers, so they push into
Co-teachers,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're more experienced teachers who come in
They're the
and provide
old
push and
mentor
support.
Yep, push
Yeah,
and support.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm wondering, I'm trying to get a sense of how we are using all of our money within the district, and looking at teachers versus administration. And I was wondering, are you considered teacher? Or are you in the union? Are
I
you?
am a teacher, I'm on a teacher contract, a union member, yes.
Okay, but are you certified to be an administrator?
I have an administrative degree, but it's not in use. So the coordinator role, I live at central office. I'm in the buildings all day throughout the week.
Okay.
But I am not a sitting administrator right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I serve on a teacher contract.
Okay, okay. And how often do you see students?
All day. I'm in the classrooms and schools, throughout the morning. I am observing and pushing in through the skills in the morning right now, and then in the afternoon I push in through the knowledge groups, through the literacy and CQLA program.
Okay. And how the transition teachers, I think of transition as, okay, once you leave early childhood and you transition to kindergarten, but those transition teachers are there to help the students all year?
Yeah,
I mean, they work as support, as a co-teacher, sort of?
Yeah, 2 of them are classroom kindergarten teachers, and so this is just an extra stipend onto what they do all day. So
Yeah, I
it's big-
think you're misunderstanding. They are regular classroom teachers
Right.
all day, and they get a
Oh.
stipend to support as an extra. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Kind
they
of
have a regular full-time job,
Yeah.
and they do the transition as extra support.
Yeah, it's just a
Okay.
name, a specific person for families to connect to each building, to answer specific questions and kind of just be that face for that building.
Okay, okay, yeah, I didn't understand. Thank you for
Thank you.
explaining
No,
that.
it's okay.
Okay. Great, that answered all my questions. Great, thank you.
You bet.
I'll need some more explanation about the kindergarten transition, but maybe we can make an appointment and you can explain that to me, how they can do their teaching job and also support these children who might have additional academic or behavioral issues. And what type of supports do they give for academic and behavioral?
So right now, they are their classroom teachers. And they are the co-teachers for their classrooms, their buildings. So my job is done outside, that's why it's a stipend, so they get paid to do all this extra stuff outside of their regular workday. So during the day, it's our co-teachers that are pushing, it's not necessarily a named kindergarten transition teacher, as much as it is a co-teacher pushing in to support those classrooms. Or myself, I'm in those roles, I'm in and out of the buildings, supporting teachers and students throughout the days. Does that help? Okay.
That's really great that the teachers do have that extra support with these children. For the kindergarten transition program, when the children come during the summer for that 1 week, do they come from various experiences, like some have had full-day school, preschool, and some have had none?
Yes.
And how does that work in the kindergarten class when you have children coming from all different experiences?
Yeah, that's the makeup of our rooms, right? So we do have some friends coming in with absolutely no school-bound experience at all, and they're coming from grandma's basement, program preschool. We have some that come from half-day programs. We have some that come from private daycares and facilities throughout Urbana. We have a good handful that come from early childhood. As that plays into the classroom, it's the teachers do a great job of meeting our students at their needs and kind of playing into what the students need at that time.
You had said that the students are screened in April. I've typically seen a lot of growth in the summer with that aged children. Are they screened again in the fall to
They are
see?
not.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to screen in April, years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And then there was a big discrepancy between the scores that we saw at early childhood in April versus what came in August. So we've bounced back to screening in more closer to May. And then as they register at different events, if they're with their families, we'll take them and screen them at that point. And then if they miss those registration points, we do screen them within those first 2 weeks of school. And we're seeing the data more, not such a big gap between those that came in April or May versus August. Our numbers, like you saw, there's a lot of red coming in. There's not as much green. There's a lot of yellow kids that are right on those target levels. But not as much of a discrepancy as we used to see.
Okay. We also know that kids develop a different times. They don't all learn how to do the same thing at same chronological age. So what other supports can we give as a district to help those kids so that they can continue to make growth and not fall further behind each year until they're in third grade, when we see that, gee, that's really a problem, we have to do something about it.
A lot of what we're seeing is the families don't have those resources at home. So throughout the events, throughout the summer or even fall, throughout the school year, we give a lot of materials home, whether it's physical materials, pencils, paper, crayons, and whatnot, or it's just parent resources for them to have how to use materials around the house at home. So while they screen, the students get a kindergarten screening bag. And in that bag, Altrusa is wonderful, and they give us a large donation every year, and they are able to provide school supplies for these kindergarten readiness bags. And the materials in those bags vary from year to year. Overall, it's a name strip, it's pencils, it's scissors, Play-Doh, fidgets, crayons, number cards, letter cards, flashcards, letter magnets. So it's been a range of materials. And then this past summer, what I started doing was putting a list of what's in that bag and how to use that at home. Or how do you use Cheerios? How do you use a magazine at home? How do you use toys at home to improve their learning for school? How do you get them more ready? So I have started putting more of those pieces in those bags too.
You have a wealth of materials there. I went through a lot of them, and there are lists upon lists, and I think as a parent I might be overwhelmed if I see
Sure.
4 pages of things.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
not
good
that
that you,
much. It's like a
it seems like a lot. So it's nice that you just kind of focus on what's in the bag too.
Yes,
So
yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Anyone else? A couple real quick. First of all, thank you for a really comprehensive report. Your office clearly does a lot, and really appreciate the depth of your data here. What do you see, I guess, as the biggest unmet need of our incoming kindergartners? And if you could ask for more resources, what would you ask for?
Stuff to put in their hands at home, things for those families to do. You know, we've had different events and things for families to attend, and they just don't attend. I thought about doing like a registration bus and taking the bus out to our northern families, whether I just sit out at Farm and Fleet right on the school bus and come to the school bus and register that way. That was a brain bubble I had a couple years ago and never came to see it through. But just, yeah, I would just love to be able to get more materials into their hands and more people to help support in the classrooms so teachers can focus on instruction and not necessarily the behaviors and the intense needs coming in. Just that more support.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes,
please.
sorry. So you said that the Spanish dual language kids were screened in Spanish, but the French were screened in English?
They are.
Why is that?
We don't have the French material for that part. We have a French component, but the overall score is for their English speaking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Since it's just like letter recognition and things like that, wouldn't that be pretty easy to do in French? I
It
mean, it's
is.
not
I
like you're
think it,
switching to Chinese or something.
There's more letters, right? It's different in that regard. I would have to talk to our French teachers to go over like exactly what the differences are in terms of scoring for the overall averages.
Since that's kind of a really important
Mhm.
aspect of, you know, how good the French is going in.
Mhm.
That would be
Mhm.
a really good thing to
Yeah.
add. Paul asked about what you could use. I'm wondering, you mentioned then kind of some of the behaviors that we see coming in. Early childhood classes, I think, are like 10 kids and an aide. I mean, a teacher, 10 kids, a teacher,
Yeah,
and
they're
an
more
aide.
than 10. Yeah, I'm not sure the numbers look like. I know they're full. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
15 or
But
so.
then you go to 20 kids and no aide.
Agreed.
And I'm wondering if, you know, getting those class size numbers down wouldn't be the most important thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. One last call. Thanks again for this great
Thank you.
presentation and discussion.
Appreciate it.
Next up is a discussion of the PE waiver.
Jessie Bradford. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Student Learning. And tonight I'm here to talk to you about the request for an elementary PE waiver. So the Illinois School Code requires students in kindergarten through 12th grade to participate in PE 3 times a week in a 5-day work week. And after looking at the elementary schedules for the school year, we are only able to provide PE for our elementary students for 2 days a week. And there's several reasons for that. I think Dr. Avery Tatum shared with you, I think, John, you can put it on the board if you don't mind. Yeah. So there are several reasons as to why we have 2 days of PE versus the state, the Illinois code of 3 days. One of them is just not enough time in the school day to support all grade levels K through 5, getting 3 days of PE without lengthening the school day. There's just not enough time. We'll go through the required minutes of what a day looks like in elementary, just so you can kind of see what it's like and kind of wrap your mind around what the schedule looks like. Also, our schedule that we have for elementary really maximizes the daily instructional time in our schedule to support our core subject areas. So we have a new curriculum this year, which is CKLA and Caminos for our ELA, and that requires 120 minutes a day. And then our other core subject areas, math is 60 minutes. And then for our social emotional learning, we require 30 minutes. We've built in an enrichment intervention time because we have so many students in reading and math not scoring at grade level. So we need to find ways to close those gaps, and to do that is with intervention or ways to increase our students with enrichment. So we added our 30-minute block into the schedule to help support to close that achievement gap. And then also the required instructional minutes, which includes 30 minutes of like the unstructured recess time. Here's the biggest obstacle is there's just not enough like days in the week to support like a 3-day like grade level. So most elementary buildings are 3-strand. Some are 4. King is the only one that has like, I think 3rd and 4th grade are 2-strand. But all the other grade levels are at least 3-strand. And like I said, I think 5th grade at DPW is 4-strand. And so if you think about that, if we have 3 strands and we have 5 days in a week, we can't have each class and each grade level have PE 3 days a week. It's just, there's not enough days in the week. We also have, we don't have enough PE teachers and to support the 3 days of PE. It's just impossible to do in the schedule due to the time and the number of classes that we have in a day. And then also just space in the building. If we had each grade level do PE 3 days a week, there just wouldn't be enough room for those PE spaces. So those are just several reasons why we have 2 days of PE versus 3 days. But having PE 2 days a week will allow us to focus on increasing our student achievement in reading and math, which is our district goal, our district focus, closing those achievement gaps, maintaining our current staffing and PE spaces, maintaining the daily schedule, which includes time for library, for science and social studies, for that enrichment intervention time, SEL, and then strengthen its long-standing commitment to the fine arts. So students have specials or electives, as we call them, every day, 30 minutes a week. So that includes art, that includes music, and then dance and drama. And so they rotate through a 6-week block of fine arts instruction. So. But I also wanted to say too, so what I heard from the public comments is that we need more time for our students to move during the day. Completely agree, especially with our elementary students who just have a lot of energy, right? But I want to say that we do provide our students multiple ways to move throughout the day, and that's through engagement in our instructional activities. So what's great about our CKLA program that's new this year is that it has student engagement activities built into instruction. So they do things like wiggle cards to teach decoding, where students have cards and they move around the room to create like words, and they come up and they switch out cards. So there's movement right there. They act out vocabulary. There's a lot of vocabulary and knowledge. So some of the activities are acting out the vocabulary. There's red light, green light, where students like move around the room and they debate like certain topics. There's four corners. There's snow fights. There is group huddles. So when I hear that we need more opportunities for our students to move, we have those built into our curriculum, not only just CKLA, but also with our SEL, with role playing. We also have like poetry talks. In math, we have cooperative groups, we have centers, we have manipulatives. So I know that PE is a favorite of elementary students. If you ask any elementary student like what their favorite subject is, they're gonna say either lunch, recess, or PE. And my goal is to get our students to say like, we love reading, like reading's our favorite subject, or math, or science and social studies, because we wanna instill the love of learning in our students. So I will be quiet now.
Well, you can to take questions. Board members.
Do teachers have flex time in the schedule at all? Is there some time where they can do whatever they want besides the specific things in the different curriculums?
I think it just depends on, we really want them to stick to like the instructional minutes. But like if there are specific like days that are coming up that they want to incorporate like into their teaching, then they can do so. Like so for like this week is the celebration of LGBTQIA, and then so they're incorporating some activities into their instruction. Hispanic Heritage Month, teachers can incorporate. We send out activities that teachers can incorporate. So they do have time for like those things to embed into their instruction.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Sitlali. Sitlali, would you go ahead?
Thank you. Thank you for the explanation. I received a lot of emails this week, and I have my kid, and he's in 3rd grade. He's a very active kid. He's suffering right now because in Yankee Ridge, they don't have the opportunity to play before the school, like he was in Leo. I know he comes to the school and line up in the gym, which causes a lot of stress for him because he cannot move. Then he goes to the classroom, and then he sits. And slowly he starts making noises, start making, being a little bit more active, try to be active, and it's a normal thing for 8 years old. So removing one day of physical activity is going to struggle a lot. He's going to struggle a lot and focus. And yes, we're going to have all this time trying to force the kids to focus, but they won't do it because there is so much they can bear. And also I feel like the teachers, by not having the space, that some of the teachers in PE, when their kids go to PE, they get ready for the next lesson. That's what I understand for some of the teachers. So not having that space where they can free their mind a little bit is going to be also hard for them. So I wonder if we can create other ways to just focus on the academics, but also leaving that freedom to the kids to play and to move, because it's going to struggle a lot, especially in winter, when the day goes short and the kids are not moving. That is not going to help to them, trying to force them to focus. So I wonder if there is other ways that how we can create the spaces for the kids to keep moving and for getting those academics achievements. The reason that you give us, like, there is not enough time, is not a valuable one for me. You say that we don't have enough teachers, PE teachers. So I wonder how we were doing it all this time.
So we haven't been doing it all this time. So I've been in Urbana for, I mean, like, this is 24, almost 23 years. And this is the way we've been doing it for all the years that we've been here. We've always had
So only we have
PE
two-
two times a week.
So we weren't following the recommendations for the state
So-
for all this time.
So I just found out last year when Champaign went through the same process. All of the LUDA districts have just started filling out the waiver in the last year or two. I haven't found anything on record from our previous superintendents where they've completed this waiver. It's something that districts have just started doing in the last year or two. And so we've never filled it out, and Champaign just did it last year. So, I mean, I was a principal in 2005, and since I've been in this district, we've only had PE 2 times a week. We started our PE program in 2016 with our first elementary PE teachers. And when they started, they taught PE 2 times a week. Our teachers used to do PE maybe once or twice a week with some organized PE. It used to just be the teachers who did it twice a week. And sometimes they took kids outside to play, and that was PE. Or they did an organized lesson in the gym, and that was PE. So that's how we've always done it, unfortunately, and that's what we've done. It's been great to have elementary PE teachers since 2016. It's been amazing to have organized PE. But what Ms. Bradford is saying is actually true. The fact that we have, I forget how many we have, but if we were to say we needed 3 days a week, we'd have to hire, is it 3.5 people or something like that?
Yeah, it's 50% more.
We'd have to hire like 3.5 more people where we wouldn't have gym space for that many people. And that is calculating, $60,000 times 3.5, and not having enough space. But that's why the waiver is available, because not only does Urbana not have space, money, time in their schedule, many other school districts like Champaign, Mahomet, most school districts don't have the time, the instructional minutes in their day to do it. That's why ISB makes the waiver available. So it's what we've always done, unfortunately. Now, the fact that we're able to give recess time at lunch, classroom teachers do their own classroom recess, which we don't structure that time. Teachers decide. That's one of those times you were talking about, Sherry, that flex time. They decide when they want to take their classes out for recess. I was over at King, walking around doing some walkthroughs, and I walked into a classroom, and it was supposed to be CKLA time, but the teacher was saying, we're taking a brain break, we need a break, and she was lining everybody up to go outside for a recess break. She said, we need a break, and so they were going out to take a quick little recess break. So I think that's what teachers kind of do, is they judge when the kids need a brain break, and they take a brain break, and they go out and they come back. And so I think that's kind of, we expect our teachers to kind of use their judgment to do those things. So yeah, that's how we've always, it's not, so I think a lot of people are misunderstanding and thinking we're taking away a PE time where we're really not. We found out about this waiver, and so we're trying to be in compliance with something that we are filling it out because we found out last year that this is something that we should do. So we're not taking it away. We're making sure that we're being compliant with something that we're supposed to do.
One of the classrooms that I observed as well a couple weeks ago, instead of the kids just sitting at their desk writing and copying words, they were going to different stations. And they were moving the entire time, all different places. And they could go with their own speed at their own time. So they weren't directed, to go, everybody move at a certain time. They were really very comfortable in the classroom. And also I wanted to respond to what you said, Citlali, regarding teachers' preparation. Well, there are other activities too, and I don't know what the contract says. If you could help me with that, Angie, but there's art, there's music, and those are other times when the teachers can't prepare for other lessons. So I don't know how much time the teachers have during the week, but that would be interesting to know as well.
Something that makes Urbana incredibly special with the emphasis on fine arts is I don't know another district where in the elementary schools we have dance and drama. And so not only are the kids having exposure to music and art and PE, but they're also moving in dance and drama too.
Yeah, and we get the dance and drama is a double block, so they get 12 weeks of dance and drama. So 6 weeks of dance, 6 weeks in drama, which is lots of movement happening, which is really a great time. And our dance and drama teachers, well, all of our fine arts teachers, some have more, some have less arts infusion time, which is also another time for movement. I wanted to address something you said, Sitlali, and also something one of our public comment people said about the students who came from Leo that are at Yankee Ridge about the playground. One of the reasons that I know that was kind of a Leo thing, right? Let the kids could play out on the playground. And unfortunately, you mentioned our contract, Sherry, is we have something in our contract called a professional day. And so we don't have supervision before school. We don't have elementary supervisors. We don't have people before school available to supervise. So there aren't adults out there. And so before school, there are 480 students at Yankee Ridge right now. And so to have that many students just kind of running around outside playing on the playground without adult supervision is a safety issue. And I think the person who spoke about it kind of said that's a safety issue. And I think we have stipends available. We offer the stipends for staff who might want to be out there supervising students, but if we don't have staff available to watch kids, we can't have kids playing on playground. And, so that is a safety issue. So that's one of the reasons why they go in the gym and line up, because we can't have them run around outside without adult supervision.
How did it work in Leo then? Because they
Yeah,
have
I don't
also
know.
adult
I don't know who
supervision.
was supervising them at Leo. but
At Leo, I mean, I'm a former Leo
parents were
parent.
kinda
I'm a
standing outside.
And if you've seen Arrival at the other schools, it looks very different than Leo. Leo being a neighborhood school, you see parents walking with pets, with coffee mugs, being able to walk their kid to school, which is it's a great thing. And so on the playground, Leo parents would stay and chat with their neighbors, with other parents, but there was no one out there from the school district supervising. There would, until about maybe 15 minutes before school started, but if kids arrived before then, it was just parent supervision. And at Leo, where it's fenced in, it's safer, right? So we're not gonna have, once the kids are entering in and with all of the adults on the playground, because I presume that's still happening, we don't have the flight risk, right? Like that we would have at Thomas Paine or DPW or Yankee Ridge, where it's just a big open space where kids can run.
And that is very unique. That only happens at
It's
Leo.
very special to Leo.
And none of our other elementary schools do kids play on the playground before school, unfortunately, so.
So every school besides Leo goes to the gym and line up for 10 to
They might
15
line
minutes?
up outside, they might line up in a hallway. Some schools, they line up inside in the hallway. They might, but none of our elementary schools have ever played on the playground before school starts.
How many kids are walking right now to Yankee Ridge? Do we have that number?
How many walk? I could get that number. It's probably the smallest number. There are a lot of car riders. There are a lot of bus riders. And the smallest number are the walkers. Just from my observation from being there the first couple weeks.
Yeah, because even in Leo, the bus will
Lots
drop
of
the kids,
walkers.
and the kids were, even the bus kids were like playing outside.
Yeah.
10 to 5 minutes before line up for go. So
Yeah.
I wonder if we can first also to do something about safety in the playground in Yankee Ridge that I think will be helpful for kids and for teachers to fence it out or do something that you guys did in Leo as well and in other schools, because I think it's the only school that doesn't have fence in the playground.
I would love to amend our contract with our teachers so that
Oh, yeah.
we would have more supervision, not just at the elementary level, but especially at the middle school level, where it can get pretty raucous in the morning, but that the concept of a professional day is something that is baked into the culture of Urbana, is something that every time we've done contract negotiations, the subject has come up, and it's been the last thing that we fight over to the end, and it's something I don't see really ever changing.
Yeah, but if we have like parents taking care of the kids like in Leo that are walking and they are in a fence backyard, a fence playground, I don't see why we
If
cannot
we
let the
had
kids.
parent volunteers.
If
or
we had,
parents who
if we
wanna-
guaranteed parents volunteers, that'd be one
Sure.
thing, but that
Yeah.
isn't the case at neighborhoods other than Leo.
What about the liability, though? It's on school grounds and they're not being supervised by staff. I mean, would parents want to take that responsibility for other children?
But they do it in Leo. Why we are having that exception in there? Wondering as well.
Well, it's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. Yeah, it continues to be an issue. I mean, Paul's right. We talked about it a lot at
Every single time.
negotiations.
It's a thing we talk
Yep.
about the most, every
Yep.
single time.
And I know our union really did promote it with staff and asked staff to, we even increased the elementary supervision stipend amount to incentivize staff this last contract. And we still, every year, we still have principals asking for staff members, not just for arrival, also for dismissal. Dismissal is also a very hard time for safety to get kids home. Like at Yankee Ridge, there are a lot of staff members at Yankee Ridge that have been helping with dismissal, making sure that we get all those kids home safely. And it takes a lot of people to do that, and they have been doing it. But when you think about the number of people doing it after school, that's less people that will be doing it in the morning because they're all helping after school, getting those kids home, so.
I
And just
totally
to-
understand that part. What I don't understand is why in Leo we do the exception that the parents can take care of the kids. The bosses drop the kids and kids play outside with no supervision. Why we are doing that exception in one school and don't do it in another?
It's a good question.
It is a good
That's a
question.
good question.
Not really a question. You gave good reasons of why we need to shave off PE, but even with the games and things of that, it's not PE. So, I've been out of PE for a long time, but I just know it's just kind of not the same.
Yeah. Yep.
But thank you.
Go ahead,
Um,
Jennifer.
I taught in the dark ages when actually PE was required 5 days a week, and teachers were supposed to teach it. And we only had the one gym where we ate lunch, and we didn't have an all-purpose room. And I don't have any idea if there was a waiver opportunity or not. But I remember that we had to sign a little paper saying that we taught PE 5 days a week, even though we only could use the gym 2 days. And one teacher at King refused to sign it one year, and she was called into the superintendent's office and told she had to sign it and that he would be by to make sure she was teaching PE 3 days a week in her room. And so, and I know some teachers really did that. Like, I remember one teacher took the kids power walking every morning, and they were all better off for it. But when I read the ISB regulation, what I read was that they were willing to give waivers if you didn't have the space. And then, as part of that form that you sent out, and number 4, you had to say how you were how you were planning to meet the intent of the regulation. And I feel like what we're doing now is saying, no, we're not meeting the intent of the regulation. Because it's not that we don't have the space, it's that we don't have the time, and this is kind of the lowest thing on the totem pole.
We don't have the space, the time, or the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't have all three.
Right. But now I thought that once all the schools, we were told that once all the schools had lunchrooms, all-purpose rooms, multi-purpose rooms, that we would have time.
So
for
right
the-
now, we
for- I mean,
serve.
we would have space.
So we serve lunch I just did intruder drills today. So we have served lunch at most of our schools from 10:45 until about 12:45 or 1:15. In order to have a 3-strand to 4-strand building having PE happening in all of those classes 3 times a day, you'd have to be having PE classes happening in the big gym and the multipurpose space all day long. So you'd have to be either cutting your lunch times or just because you'd have to be using your multipurpose room, and you'd have to have the curtain down in your gym. So you'd have to have PE happening in 3 different spaces literally all day long to get 3 PEs happening in a building like Dr. Williams, where they have 3 classrooms or 4 grade levels in a building. So we don't have the space to do that because of the lunch times as well. And we don't have the people.
I'm sorry. I thought by doing the redistricting and to moving the kids to Leo, we will moving kids unifying the program.
Sure.
We will have enough space in each school because we will balance the students, and then we will have people because we close one school.
I
So,
wasn't even talking about Leo. I was talking about Dr. Williams.
No, I'm talking about in general, all the
Yeah, or
districts,
Yankee
like
Ridge.
balancing the kids,
Sure.
like moving everybody and having close one school. I heard that we will balance sizes.
Well, I
We
wasn't
will
talking about
balance
class
kid-
sizes. I was talking about the number of classes.
I would like to
So-
finish my sentence before you
Yes.
interrupt me.
Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Yes, go ahead.
I don't mean to be mean, but it's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like what's
That's
my
okay.
ideas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
So yes, by balancing the kids in each school
Yes.
and closing one school, we will have enough people and space to cover every needs of our kids in this district.
Yes.
That was the whole campaign we have.
Yes.
And I'm listening that we don't have a space, we don't have time, and we don't have people, which 2 of them should be covered by this restricting and moving people around. So something is coming off.
I just wanted to interject real quick, and I just to note, and I don't know what kind of comments you've received from people in the community, but I just wanted to say, I don't know if you've heard from our PE teachers or not, but this is not a change from what we've been doing in the district. And I think that if it were a change, you would hear from them. And again, I don't know what emails you receive from from the public, but this is the first time that we have talked about it here, and so I think that that's why people are concerned that this is a change. And so I just want you to think about that, whether or not you've heard from the PE teachers.
Yeah, we're not taking away PE time that had been given in previous years. This is just something we've always not done, and now we're basically getting official permission from the state to do what we have always done. But going back to your point with regards to the consolidation of the buildings, I think you're right. In terms of what we did is when we added the extra multipurpose room and gym and all that, the other thing we did is we added classrooms. So we turned those buildings into 3 and 4 strand buildings. At the same time, we did the multipurpose room, and so now you've got the same number of spaces for indoor PE, but you have more classrooms, more kids to put through that space. So this is why we're having constraints on that.
That's what I was trying to say so loud. So it isn't the number of students that are in each class, it's the number of classes. So when we put them all in one building, the class sizes are better. So we don't have classes with 28, 29, 30 students, which is great, right? The classes have 22 or, they're way better. They're smaller classes, which is great. But the number of classes is still, we still have 26 classes that we have to get through through lunch. That's 26 classes that we have to get through 3 PE times. And just to feed that many kids through from 10:45 to 1:15, that's a lot of classes. So when you have to have lunch periods, right, that you close that multipurpose room for a huge chunk of the day, so you can't have PE or anything happening during that time. So then, because it's a lunchroom now, so then the only time lunch PE can happen is in the other in the gym where PE should be happening. So then PE can happen in that space with 2 classes, because we can put the curtain down. So that's what we do in those big gyms. We have a curtain that can go down, and 2 people can be teaching PE. But while lunch is happening, only lunch is happening. Nothing can be happening in that other space. So then you're taking away a huge chunk of the day where you can't be having PE, which is a space issue. And then we have a people issue, because if we went to having 3 PE times for that many classes, we're hiring now 3.5, we haven't done the exact math, but we'd be looking for several PE teachers. And then also, it would be a time issue. Trying to find the time, we'd be taking something out of everybody's day. So we're taking away literacy time. Are we going to take away from science and social studies? Are we going to take away from, what are we taking out of their day now to make space for a third PE time? Then we can't take away recess because of the structured, unstructured play requirement. So then we're taking away either a core time or a mandated minute that we need for something else too. So
The way to solve this, in my estimation, would be to, in our next contract negotiations, which will be a year from now,
extend the school day.
was to talk to the teachers about extending the school day by about 15 minutes.
Absolutely. And we've talked about that too.
We have talked about it in previous years, but we've been kind of scared to bring it forward because it'd be a huge cost to the district.
Yep.
But I think that's how we could get about both meeting the state requirements and also our academic goals.
Yeah, we've
Well,
talked about it.
Two things now, and thank you so much for the clarification. I obviously learning, but if we haven't done it, we have only 2 days PA, and then now we are in the conversation because it came out for this waiver. How is that the new curriculum is affecting times? Because I heard that because of the new curriculum, we had to adjust timing, and that's why now we don't have time for free play. How is that if we was doing it before with the other curriculum? How is the curriculum affecting this?
So we didn't have a structured curriculum before. It was kind of balanced literacy, so we didn't have a mandated time frame. So with our new curriculum, we are mandated to teach it, well, not mandated, what would you
But
call it,
it requires,
Jessie?
though,
Required, yeah.
every day for, skills for K through 2 is 60 minutes, and then knowledge is 60 minutes, and then for 3 through 5, for ELA, it's 120, anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes.
So because it's an evidence-based, research-based curriculum, the curriculum, they say, in order for your students to make the gains that you want them to make, in order to make those gains, they say you need to provide this many minutes of instruction. Before, we were using the balanced literacy approach, so teachers were doing an hour, 90 minutes, or they were structuring the time based on however they wanted to do it to meet the standards within the time frame that they needed to do it. So we weren't using a evidence-based, research-based, actual standard curriculum that here's your book, here's your teacher guide. So it was a little more flexible.
Yeah.
But now that we have this more standards research-based curriculum, it says this is what you teach and this is how you teach it. Does that is that answering your question?
Yeah, but
I'm not sure.
I
Okay.
still don't understand why we are talking about timing and why we are talking about, I understand now that we only have 2 PA during the week.
Mhm.
So what is the conversation about limiting kids' time because of the curriculum?
So I guess I'm not understanding your question.
No,
So
if this has always been a problem, why are we even talking about the requirements of the new curriculum when making the argument for getting the waiver?
because the curriculum is new, because it's a new thing. So last year we added math. Yeah, last year we added math, and that was 60 minutes. And then this year we added the curriculum, which put a strain on the time. So, and if you ask any of our teachers, kind of what Sherry brought up, they had a lot more flexibility in their schedule. This year,
It tells you specifically what you have to
there's
teach.
very
So
little,
it's
yeah.
like for skills, it's your warm up, it's your phonemic awareness, it's your word work, then it's your I do, we do, you do model, then it's like partner reading, and then there's some like skills activities that the students do. So there's certain time frames for all those components. And I think, and then 3 through 5, it's reading, it's listening and speaking, it's writing, and it's morphology. So I don't know if the teachers in the years before, they didn't have those certain time limits for all those components to teach. And so that's what's so great about having a curriculum, that all students get the same instruction and everything. So it's not different in every single classroom. Maybe the way you teach it is, but every student is getting exposed to the same curriculum.
And it's evidence-based.
Yes.
So we know that
Well, I think when we're filling out the waiver with the state, we're using the rigidity of the curriculum as one of the arguments for asking for the waiver. But even without the curriculum, in prior years, we should have done the waiver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's a little scary to know now what else we are not following recommendations from the state.
Hopefully nothing else.
Okay.
But I mean, I think this is new, right? Like, we're excited to have something for our new teachers, for our long-term subs. But I know for our folks who are veterans, this is very different for them. And I think, you know, a lot of our veteran teachers who are used to having a lot more just say and, you know, flexibility and freedom to do things the way they want to do the Urbana way. This is harder, you know, for them, and so it's new for everybody, and we're all learning together. But it is very different, and I think I'm excited. Our new teachers, oh my goodness, and our long-term subs, to be able to give them like all the things that Jesse just laid out, for somebody to have it right there spelled out for you, like this is what you do and this is how you do it, has been really, really good.
I mean, we added about $400,000 to $500,000 to the budget 6 or 7 years ago when we actually hired PE teachers. And what that did is, because of student contact time, it freed up collaboration time for our grade, so teachers at the same grade level could collaborate, you know, while the PE was happening. You know, I think it'd be great if we had the space and the time and the money to do that third hour in the week. You know, maybe that could be a goal of ours. It's not going to happen this year, but you know, maybe we could talk about adding it to our contract negotiations, and then they could have that extra hour of collaboration time to come up to speed on the new curriculum or any sort of curriculum, professional development.
That's what they're doing right now. Like, the collaboration time is how they're planning and using that the time that the kids are in PE and fine arts and library. They're using that to learn and plan and work with the new curriculum. We have a CKLA coach that works with them and comes in to those collaboration spaces to help them learn this curriculum and plan with their co-teachers. So if we didn't have PE teachers, we would not be able to do that, and so it is amazing, yeah.
Anyone?
Jennifer?
I think what I'm hearing from parents is this is happening at the same time that they're hearing about reduced recess. And parents want their kids to be able to move around, get actual exercise during the day.
So we haven't
And-
reduced recess. So if people have reduced recess, that hasn't come from the district, and I've seen some emails today about that. So if there has been reduced recess, that's something Jesse and I didn't know about, and that's something that we need to be following up with principals about, because there should not be reduced recess. The lunch times are set. We have 45 minutes, and this is
They
something
actually
I
get
wanted
40
to say.
minutes versus 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
the unstructured play requires 30 minutes a day. And in our schedule, the way we have it set up, it should be set up, the teacher should be following, students get 40 minutes. So they're getting an extra 10 minutes.
In our
as
district,
what's
we're
required.
unique that there aren't very many districts where teachers get a undedicated 45 minutes for lunch. In Champaign, they only get 30. Our teachers get 45 minutes, which is great. And then they have the 30-minute prep, and then they get to take their recess time, which we don't schedule for them. So if they're teachers that aren't taking recess, they should be, because we
can
count
send out
those.
that reminder.
We count those minutes as part of the 30 minutes of the unstructured playtime. So that's something we need to be following up with principals about. If teachers haven't structured their 15 minutes of recess, we count those 15 minutes as part of those 30 minutes that we report to the state that is part of their playtime. So we did not know that was not happening for specific
Right,
folks.
and for lunch, I do not know if this is true in Illinois, but I know that the CDC suggests that one of the parents, I don't know who, said that kids ought to have 20 minutes of sit down and eat time. So your 20 minutes doesn't start until that last kid is sitting down and eating. And so, because I used to teach when we had 30-minute lunches, And by the time you got the kids to the lunchroom, you went to the bathroom, washed your hands, you had 10 minutes to eat. And so we don't want that for our kids. We want them to have enough time to actually eat. I happen to have a daughter who was a slow eater. And so counting that, making sure kids get out of the gym in time to get the 20 minutes of recess, it can be counterproductive for some students.
So most of the teachers do the hand washing and all that before they go in the lunchroom, so that isn't usually
Oh, I
part of
know
their.
the teachers do that.
Yeah, they do
No,
their-
but
yeah.
then you get them down there's a line.
Yep.
By the time, I'm just saying.
Yep.
That for some kids, that's counterproductive.
Yeah, there's some.
And I think parents were accustomed to a little 15 minutes in the morning and a little 15 minutes in the afternoon, and they're not getting that. And,
You basically answered said exactly what I was gonna say, but I anecdotally open my kid's lunchbox and see that
It's full.
it's full. He's a good eater, but he just doesn't have enough time. Not full, but, he's.
Yeah.
And my concern is that the last kid in line is gonna have very limited time to eat. Because he sees all his friends going to the playground, so.
I hope that they don't
There's-
rush students out to the playground. We always gave kids time to eat. Like, if you weren't finished eating and you still need to finish eating, like, I hope that they honor that time for kids to finish eating before they go out to the playground. So if it's time to line up or you're not finished eating, I hope that they give those students some extra time to
This
eat.
seems more logistics on each building. So it's not something that,
And it's probably what you're saying, Ben, they see their friends all getting up to go out, and
Yeah.
they wanna go
Yeah.
out.
right, they wanna go out and play.
Plus, they're socializing during,
Well,
during
that- yeah, no,
lunchtime
no.
as
Yeah.
well, it's like
Talking and
seeing what
eating,
other
yeah.
kids have as well. But I agree with you,
Yeah.
about that the parents are more concerned about just having the physical exercise, and that's important. And I think all this is new, and parents didn't have the information, we didn't have the information. So somehow, if we could get examples of what the physical activities that the kids are doing within their classrooms, within the day, that would at least give us more confidence that the children are getting activity, because we know that there's a lot of active learning that's being done. And plus kids with IEPs, some of them have to have breaks and things like that. So those are incorporated as well. So we need more information just to see what exactly is going on. And I know that would be a lot of work for you or for
I can
somebody
name 'em
else.
right
But
now.
I think, but I think that even like within your child's classroom or your child's grades,
Uh-huh.
make more specific so parents know that
Yeah.
it's being carried out in the school day.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, you could give us like a daily routine of how a day looks like, and a child from, I don't know, kindergarten, third grade, fourth grade. So for us also to understand. And I have a question: how long is the PE class or the PE time?
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. And it's been happening twice a week.
Yep,
in each
it
school.
mirrors
So
the
they get
fine arts
60.
schedule.
Even with all the kids, all the streets and the small
Yep,
spaces.
30 minutes. So fine arts, library, PE, they're all 30 minutes.
So just to people to hear it on YouTube, there is no reduction on lunchtime or recess.
So we have a 45-minute lunch. 20 of that is supposed to be eating, and 25 of that is supposed to be recess outside playing. And then teachers are supposed to schedule at least a 15-minute classroom recess.
And the regulations on lunch, I think, just depends on like your contract of
Yeah,
like
our contract is 45.
of what the
yeah.
teachers get for lunchtime, because that's when the students eat, right? So Champagne was 35 here, it's 45. My kid's school, I think it's 30. So I think it's not a state regulation. They have to have lunch and recess, right?
Yeah.
But it's up to the school districts and the contract of how long it is.
Yeah, and ours happens to be 45 minutes.
And in order to accommodate the new curriculum, we still have time to have 15 minutes
For
break.
class recess, yes. So, we spent a lot of time this summer
Okay.
with the elementary schedule to be able to fit it all in, to be able to keep our 30 minutes for SEL, and to keep the 5 days a week for fine arts, We added, the one thing we did add was the intervention, and enrichment 30-minute block. So that was something that was really important to us. When we added the CKLA, we wanted to really make sure that we were thinking about our students that needed enrichment, but also our students who needed intervention. So that was the one thing that we did add, was that 30 minutes piece, but.
I think, like I said, I would like to see the form filled out, that number 4 in the form, which says, how are we honoring the intent of the regulation? Because I don't think parents feel that we are. I think that parents feel that what we are doing is we're not actually cutting out, but we're not encouraging active bodies during the school day. And many, many, many of our children need that. And discussing this with some people, a former kindergarten teacher, she said, and Jennifer, it's the kids who are happy to sit there and read all day. They may be the ones who need it the most because they have to get used to using their bodies and all that. So I think that's a really important thing. And I think that encouraging teachers, because what you said and described, yes, it's not just sitting there, but it's not active, not really. I mean, what you described is what they're doing in the CKLA program. It's not really moving their bodies and getting energy out. And I think that that's a very important part of school. It's an important part of learning. It really helps the brain. And I think research is clear about that. And then I have another question about time, and that is, in what you sent out to Jennifer Ivory Tatum sent out to the board, you said we get science and science or social studies 2 days a week. I'd like to know how many minutes for those.
30.
30 minutes,
30.
2 days a week, okay. And you said that collab time, it used to be that teachers had 30 minutes of prep time.
So they
have for,
They get
that's
30
fine
minutes of
arts.
prep time, that's fine arts, but now they get an additional 30 minutes of collab time twice a week, and that's what Paul was talking about.
And that's the PE time.
Yeah.
When we added the PE
Right.
teachers.
Okay.
We invested a bunch of money basically to provide that time to our staff.
So the two
Right.
PE times a week is when they get to collab as a grade level and plan.
Okay, okay. And as long as, I think the teachers have to know, have to be told, if your kids need a 15-minute break, take it, even if you don't get through the CKLA. I mean, because what we were told and what teachers were told is that administrators are going to be walking through the building, through making sure that you're following this to the letter. And I think that that teachers are closer to the students, and they see, I mean, I have to admit, as a teacher, there were days when I had planned to do something longer, and I said, nope, we're going outside, because they couldn't do it.
Yep.
And I think that that's a really important.
Yeah, I think
And,
we
and
have
the
both
other thing
walked-
is important is that some kids really need to be able to look at the clock and say, okay, I only have to be good for 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to be able to go outside and run. I mean, there are kids like that.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we have to think about all of those kids, and I don't think that we're going to really be helping kids learn the language arts curriculum if we ignore that. So I want to see the answer, and I would love to see the answer to that number 4 question before October 1st.
Okay.
Thanks. Anybody else?
In respect to what you're saying, is that teachers should have some freedom to make decisions like that, if necessary. I mean, I can see a classroom attention span at a dead stop. You send them out to run around for 5 minutes, and they come back and their button has been reset. So
That's what brain breaks are good
Yeah,
for
that's
too.
what brain breaks
You know,
are
if you
for.
needed that quick brain break for 5 minutes, because there's a lot of like go noodle and like movement, like physically like movements for brain breaks, which are amazing to break up your curriculum. Like, you know, and you really shouldn't be teaching for more than 20 minutes, right? If you're engaging your students, and then your students are going out and doing activities. So, yeah, we encourage, like, if you see that your students aren't engaged, then stop and do a brain break or, yeah.
They should have the latitude to do that.
Yeah.
And it's probably
But I-
the more experienced teachers
Right.
would know that without having to be told. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Versus, you know, I have to get through this, I have to get through this. What's the
Right.
point of getting through it if they're not engaged, right?
And I've been in a couple classrooms already, like Jennifer was talking about the walkthroughs, where you walk in and they're doing something completely different, because
Yeah.
they just needed to do that, right?
Yeah.
So,
And I don't think the brain break where you, like, watch a video and move, dance for a couple of minutes really does it, like getting outdoors.
I'm exhausted when I do those. I can tell you, I couldn't keep up with them, but you're jumping and you're doing like burpees and like some of those are really physical. So,
I think this has been a great discussion.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, yeah, this is going to come before us before a vote in 2 weeks on October 1st, and preceding that will be a public hearing on the matter.
yeah, thank you.
Last up is summer facilities update from 2024. Randy.
I think Jesse should bring some of those brain breaks to the next board meeting and let the board members try them.
Here, here.
I've seen some of the kids do them. Looks like they're kind of beat up after a few minutes. Summer working projects. Is there the other one, John? Can you go to the? This was Sixth Grade Center. There you go. That's. Okay. I'm not going to go through all of the 4 pages of summer working projects that I did. You guys have all been able to read this stuff, and I added some prices to what we did just so you can kind of see what our money was spent on this year. This is one of the restrooms that we redid at the high school. We went with almost like a garage-style epoxy type flooring to go over some of the old tile and grout to try to keep odors away, and then it's also easier to clean since we don't have the grout. This is sorry, the slides are kind of jumbled up, but the clings we did for some of the buildings. This one's early childhood main entrance.
That's awesome.
You can see some of the letters in there. I made sure that we had like a Katie, a K for Katie, an R for Randy, J for Jennifer.
That's cute.
These are some of the acoustical panels at the middle school that we recovered. If anybody remembers seeing them before, they were
Yeah.
severely stained from roof leaks and stuff like that. And I went with a darker color and brought a little orange into it, so the hopefully wouldn't show stains that we had other roof leaks.
Mr. Bush saw me this summer, and she said, we waited till she retired to change those out.
That's just some more. They're the same panels, we just recovered we refurbished the ones that were in there. It's another picture. This is Leal's street, where a lot of kids like to play the soccer between the green space and the playground. We widened it about 12 feet and lengthened it another 10 feet. We took out the grass that was between the sidewalk and the old street, and then on the other side did the same thing. Then we put a little retaining wall there to help with the difference in the height of the grass to the pavement.
Can I ask something about that? Why we have a street and there and why it's not like a playground with grass? Why it cuts the what other things? It's part of the city or is a design or?
No idea. We've talked about it, raising it up.
Is that,
to
is
the-
that actually a city property or a school
It's-
property?
It's school property now. They signed it over to us. It's actually ours. I know one problem would be is the sidewalk that not all of them, a lot of the parents use, that you can see down here in the bottom corner. The kids walk in, and the parents walk in. We'd have to figure out a way to raise that. So I think there'd be some ADA issues with the height coming off the sidewalk or off the street, coming up to the building. Right now it's level. If we raised it that 2+ feet, we'd have to, I guess we could ramp it, but,
I think it would be more, more environment friendly for the kids also. Nice, like I remember the smell of the asphalt in summer and so hot. Remember Miguel just sliding there and getting like really good bros in his knees.
Well,
So
as we do strategic planning, I think we're going to be doing a reevaluation. It's a good opportunity to do reevaluation of facilities projects across the district, and this could be something that, turning into
Yeah,
green
I-
space or finding some other purpose for this bit of
I think
land
this
could
was-
be
was
on
our
there.
list. This was on our list of,
Well, it was on there for some of the repairs that Randy's
For
talking
repair,
about.
yeah.
But in terms of like re-envisioning it for as a green
Design
space
it.
there
or
was
whatever.
some parents, Leo parents, a couple years ago, brought forth an idea to make this sort of what's it, impervious, not impervious, water.
Oh, the water, the bricks that the water will
Yeah,
pour
or
through.
something that would deal with water issues.
They were wanting to use the bricks, and it'd be the same as the
Yeah,
pavement.
Yeah.
But in any case, it's this kind of thing that you would put on a list of potential projects for the district and get ranked through a committee from across the district. There's stuff at the secondary campus. There's stuff at different elementary buildings. And this it seems like an opportunity for us to consider, what to do going
We
forward.
can definitely look into it.
As it
I like grass better than pavement.
As it stands, though, it's better than it was, so.
Yes, a lot better than what it was, and
It's safer.
a lot bigger and safer. Yep. I know the kids love it right now, but I'm sure they would love it if it was grass. That was just another picture of it. This is King's bus drop-off entrance. I think door 8 maybe, is that, I don't know. It's on the northwest side. We had an opportunity to try this flooring out at a significantly reduced rate, and they were able to cut in the word King across there, and that was Miss Turner's idea, and I think it turned out pretty nice.
That's awesome.
This is another bathroom floor. This one is at King. We did a lot of painting at the high school this summer. This is the staircase going up, door 3 up to the auditorium. Like I said, sorry, these slides are all jumbled up. I'm trying to send them from my work iPhone 4 or 5, whatever it is. It didn't work very good. And then this is another King flooring. We also, with this flooring material, we were able to go up the wall about 4 to 6 inches, and that'll kind of like has a backsplash, but it's tied into the floor, so dirty water and bathroom splashes don't get in the behind the cove base and make it stink. Just another picture from King. For the first time in a few years, the sliding glass doors now shut to the kitchen.
Woohoo!
Yeah. I just assumed they left them open. Nobody ever mentioned it to me, and so we asked, and like, yeah, they don't work. So now they work. We painted a lot of the doorways at the high school, as well as the middle school. Did a lot of door frames and doors. These are the doors to the cafeteria. I don't know if anybody remembers them before, but when they would tape up signs and peel them down, there were big patches on there where there was 2 different colors of paint. So.
that's
Promise
great.
Healthcare asked us to do some, make some better parking for them, or make it more noticeable. So they came up with a stencil, and when we seal coated and restriped the Tiger Lane, we added these 3 spots, and then 1 additional spot next to the driver's ed cars. It's just a picture of one of the door frames that we painted. The other sliding glass door. Staircase, again, looks a lot better. This is one of the new sinks that we're trying. And then we might do some more at the high school and middle school. Just a stainless steel sink. Instead of having 2 sinks there, we now have 3. I think it's going to be a little more secured, and kids aren't going to sit on them, stand on them, and bust them off the wall,
More
or
sanitary
whatever they do to get them to bust off. This is the driver's ed, yep. We also redid this bathroom. This bathroom was, the flooring was done, as well as the wall, in a, like epoxy type material to help cut down on stains from the grout. And you can, this is the same bathroom floor. You can see we did the orange stripe across the top, kind of like that. Hopefully we do that more to the bathrooms.
I have a question about the bathrooms.
Yep.
So, the floors were done, and I understand it was cleanliness, but the stalls don't work. So I was just wondering, like, why we chose floors over stalls. I think stalls are more important over trash and stuff on the floors.
The first day of school, every stall worked. I personally went around and checked them all. They just break. I don't know if I know currently we do not have any work orders for any stalls that are broken. So I'll reach out to the high school and see which ones are broken. We'll make sure to address them right
Well,
away.
I just know it was the first picture, the bathroom in the art hallway at the high school. It was redone, but it just seemed that the stalls got a paint job, that the same stalls that were broken last year were still broken this year when it was,
Oh, the stall, I'm sorry. We have new stalls to put in there. We just have not been able to get them put in yet, because it would take
Okay.
a few days to, or a couple days to do.
Okay.
Yep, sorry, I was thinking you meant the toilets themselves.
No.
No, I know what you mean. Yep, you were right. Okay, yeah, go to Sixth Grade Center. So that's a lot of the summer working project stuff we did. Here's just some pictures of the Sixth Grade Center from like the past 6 weeks or so of just construction. This is the Paul Pulaski Memorial Swimming Pool that they're putting in front of the building. Actually, it's the water retention basin. There's a big piping underneath this area that will hold all our storm water. We did have people reach out about wanting to know if it was going to be a pool.
You
That's
know,
what several people thought.
Yeah.
it's that or
Um,
geothermal. People thought that too.
That's where the soccer field's gonna go?
The soccer field will be above that.
So
Yep.
that'll just be a permeable.
Yep.
Permeable underneath, that's great.
Just grounds. This is the restrooms on the north end of the building. One is on the boys and girls, and they took out the wall, and I think it's kind of neat that they actually have like forklifts and little tractors in there to do the digging and do all the work. This is the boiler room, empty. geothermal. Another picture of the boiler room. This is the kitchen. It doesn't look quite the same as what it did. I knock out a wall, trying to make it bigger. Another picture of the kitchen. The yellow you see back in the background, or the pieces that they would put together to make the retention basin that they were going to put over in that corner. So like they would put two of them together to make a piping. Just some site work. Some more pictures of Wiley doing the indoor, changing the plumbing. More plumbing work. Same. Another picture of the pool.
I know it's early, but since it's been so dry, I imagine they're on schedule.
They are on schedule, yep. This is one of the foundations going in. This would be the library, I believe. And they should start coming back closer to the building. I'll get some more pictures, doing like another update in like a month or something. So it's kind of neat that the amount of work that they had to do inside, and we knew that some of the plumbing was a concern for us, and just the amount of digging that they had to do to take out the old piping, the cast iron piping to put in PVC. New walls going up. That's a look down the north hallway. All the ceilings out. That's another look at the kitchen. I think that's all I have. Oh, nope. Nope, at the kitchen. It's the ceiling where they're putting the new piping and electrical. The project will be finished.
July, August,
I
right?
think it's July, like middle, like third week of July, I think is what they're shooting for. And we'll have to get everything moved in. So they have a layer of dirt on top of the gravel back on the retention pond. That's the addition, the library, gym area.
Oh, goodness. It's what, $20 million we get you.
Yeah. If anybody would like to go on a tour of the building at any time, they can reach out to me and I'll be glad to take them through. I think that is the last picture that I have.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna reach out to you,
Oh, wait,
Randy.
there's Yep, sorry, there's, we have some solar projects, or pictures too, from Thomas Paine. This is just a few pictures of the solar at Thomas Paine.
Cool.
Maybe.
Right.
I don't think people realize how big it is, how much we have up there.
No,
but
it's a lot of roof.
yeah, and that's just a quarter of it right there. John.
It's awesome. I appreciate it. Going back to the, okay.
Here we go, sorry. A little bit more of it. Another section going around the courtyard. That's to the southwest corner. And out to the southeast corner. Yeah, thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you. Going back to the summer projects, how much of that were you able to do with your own staff versus having to bring in external vendors? Approximately.
Quite a bit. A lot of the air conditioning, like for first student, we repurposed a air conditioner from old central office. That was part of the agreement we had with the city, is that we wanted 2 units off of that building.
That was smart.
That were newer. One we put on for the first student, and the other one we have at our shop to hopefully use on this building. The air conditioning in our shop we were able to do. Yeah, quite a bit of it.
That's great.
We were able to do in-house. Like, kind of pride myself in
Now, it saves us a lot of money when you do that. I
with our
just want to applaud you and your staff for
the staff
for
I
being
have
able
is really
to
good.
take care of all that
They're
for
able
us.
to do a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff in-house, which we've done
Public
a
really
lot more.
appreciates. I mean, I don't think the public can't knows really how much you guys do to take care of our buildings and keep our facilities running in top-notch order. So thank you and your staff for just doing a great job.
Thank you.
Any questions for Randy? Yeah, thanks much. Moving on to, oh, sorry, I missed one.
This might be a stupid question, but you took out the pipes where we might have been getting lead or whatever, and we put in PVC. And PVC, just out of curiosity, PVC is plastic, right? And we keep talking about how we're getting more and more plastic and stuff. Will we someday, like 100 years from now, saying, "Oh my God, why did we use all that plastic
Go back to lead
piping
pipe?
for our
Probably
water?"
not.
Well, that's all waistline stuff anyway, so I hope you're not drinking that water. It's all going out.
Oh, so the PVC is all going out?
Yeah.
And so what's bringing water in?
Lead-filled pipes. Yeah.
Still the same.
Well, PVC's not copper,
There's
copper,
we have
PEX,
yeah there's PEX is yeah. Some of the PVC is you're able to use for drinking water. Or what was the other one called? PEX?
CPVC or PEX.
PEX.
Or the
PEX
supply
is-
one.
Yeah.
State building codes for schools are pretty tough, and pretty health conscious. So I'm sure we're following them down to the letter.
Yeah. At least the good thing about the PVC is that you'll never, ever, ever have to worry about it.
Okay. Anything else? All right, thanks again, Randy. We do have a list of action items on our consent agenda. I'm going to read them out of order. Starting with 11.5 is a resolution authorizing or directing the sale of disposal of property. This is Leo's library books. 11.1 are our minutes from the August 20th business meeting, September 3rd study session, and September 4th executive session. 11.2 are our bills and checks. Ed fund bills, the tune of $474,000. O&M fund bills for $345,000. Transportation fund bills for $31,000. Working cash bonds for $1.3 million. Tort for $53,000. Life safety levy for nearly $7,000. Payroll and benefits for $3.9 million. And Urbana education for $76,000. There is a list of personnel items for approval that were in our packet. And lastly, we have an administrative personnel item. Angie, can you provide context for us?
All righty. U of I students, I'm assuming, back there? Yes. We're getting close to the end. Okay. Good job hanging in, guys. So, On September 2nd, the Level 1 interview team comprised of central office clerical staff, UEA leaders, and administrators interviewed 4 highly qualified candidates across the state of Illinois to serve as our next chief financial officer. The team recommended that 3 of the 4 candidates move forward for a Level 2 interview. On September 6th, Level 2 interviews were held for the chief financial officer position. Dr. Mary Ann Scholes was selected as the most outstanding candidate. Mary Ann is joining the school district from the Decatur Public School District, where she has most recently served as the Assistant Director of Finance, Grants, and Special Projects for the past 5 years. During her 11-year tenure with Decatur, she served as the Assistant Principal of Eisenhower High School and the Principal of Stevenson Elementary. Mary Ann gained classroom teaching experience in the Springfield Public School District for 6 years as a middle school and elementary school teacher. Dr. Schloss earned her bachelor's degree from Illinois State University, her master's degree from the University of Illinois at Springfield, and her chief school business official, CSBO, endorsement, and her doctoral degree from Illinois State University. We are very excited to hire a chief financial officer who's been a teacher and a school administrator covering K through 12 students and has served as an assistant director of finance for the past 5 years in a district that is almost twice as large as Urbana. Mary Ann comes highly recommended by leaders at ISB and Stiefel, and Decatur definitely did not want to see her go. On behalf of the Urbana School District, the administration recommends Dr. Mary Ann Schloss to take the role of Chief Financial Officer effective October 1st, pending board approval.
Thank you for that context, Andy. That concludes the reading of our consent agenda. Does anybody wish to remove any of these items from the consent agenda? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or discussion? Roll call, please.
Member Stanton?
Yes.
Member Jones?
Yes.
Member Hickson?
Yes.
Member Baxley?
Yes.
Member Langendorf, yes. Vice President Exum?
Yes.
President Pulowski?
Yes, welcome and congratulations. We're so looking forward to you serving with us.
Thank you so much.
Please feel free to say a few words if you'd like.
First of all, thank you, Angie, for the great introduction. Good evening, Dr. Ivory Tatum and Board of Education. I'm very excited to be here and to be part of the team. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes. And Mary Ann has 2 young children, and so we just wanted to appreciate you driving all the way from Decatur. I know she's looking to relocate, so we're super excited. Otherwise, her family would have been here to attend, but they are probably...
You didn't want them here.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Is it 2 and 5 or 3 and 5?
2 and 5.
2 and
Oh,
5.
goodness.
So
She's got
hopefully
some
they're in
littles.
bed, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for coming. Have a safe drive home.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have individual action items as well on our agenda tonight. First up are our gifts. Donald J. Colby from Colby String Bass LLC donated the installation of 2 C extensions on string bases for Urbana High School. This donation was valued at $3,000. Hope Chapter Order of the Eastern Star Urbana donated $200 worth of school supplies to the Yankee Ridge Multilingual Elementary School. Urbana Walmart, Urbana Community donated $140 worth of school supplies to the elementary school. Cord and Katie Schroeder of Bash Pepper Roofing donated new roofs for the softball field dugouts. The donation was valued at $4,000. Drew and Jessica Smith from Smith Burger Company and Deborah Rugg of Urbana both donated $100 to sponsor the UHS Winter Guard by covering the cost of entering a regional competition this season. And an anonymous donor purchased polos and hats for the UHS golf team valued at $1,000. Is there a motion to accept the gifts and send out thank yous?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Going on to 12.3 is the fiscal year 24 Urbana School District and Adult Education Budget Resolution. This is what we discussed with our interim CFO at our last meeting with Carol. Is there a motion for the floor? I guess for both budgets. Can we do them both together or do they be separate? These are for both budgets. Is there a motion to approve both of them?
I move for approval of both budgets.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, a roll call vote is in order.
Member Jones,
Yes.
Member Hickson,
Yes.
Member Baxley,
Yes.
Member Langendorf, yes. Vice President Exum,
Yes.
President Pulowski,
Yes.
Member Stanton.
Yes.
Okay, we do have a new activity account. This is, or two new activity accounts, one at Urbana High School for the junior manners and Urbana Middle School for the Yonder student account. Is there a motion to create the two new student activity accounts?
Move for approval to create the two new student accounts.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or discussion?
I was wondering, when I read it from the principal at the middle school about the Yonder packets, are we really using first of all, he didn't say what his fundraiser would be in the form. But are we really using a fundraiser to replace the Yonder packets? That doesn't seem to make sense.
I'm guessing
to me.
these are for the students who lose them, but who don't have the funds at home to pay
yeah.
for the $30 themselves.
And so,
So you-
so he didn't say how he was, the other person, it said, what will your fundraising activity be? And he didn't,
They probably haven't planned it out yet, but they need a student account to be able to hold the money.
they just need a student account to
put the money in.
to put the money in when the students
they
repay.
raise it.
This is basically a legal requirement for any student organization that does any sort of
Okay, so it's not really
monetary.
a
Fundraising.
fundraiser thing.
Yeah.
It's, okay, thank you.
Thanks for the question. There's a motion on the floor. Any further comments or discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Last up is Press Plus 115, which we also discussed at a prior board meeting. Is there a motion for the floor?
Move for approval.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any further comments, questions, or discussions about Press Plus 115?
It was the mostly 5-year review packet that I brought last time. There were very few new, it was the last meeting.
Yeah.
We had a lot
Yeah.
of
So-
reviews. Yeah, the big one will be the next one that'll have all the Title IX changes. Yeah.
It basically brings us in compliance with.
In compliance with
With,
all of our
state-
policy updates,
There's a,
a lot of legal update. Yeah.
But it was in our packet from
In our
the
last
last
packet.
meeting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Any further comments or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Hickson,
Yes.
Member Baxley,
Yes.
Member Langendorf, yes. Vice President Exum,
Yes.
President Pulowski,
Yes,
Member Stanton,
Yes.
Member Jones.
Yes.
motion passes. That concludes our action items. There is no call for a future special or executive meeting, so it's time for our superintendent's report.
So, congratulations to Urbana Early Childhood School and Principal Madigan and the entire UECS staff for achieving Gold Circle Quality Rating for the Accelerate Illinois. They recognize our early childhood learning providers for high priority on instructional excellence, teaching and learning, family services, staff qualifications for leadership and management, professional development, and program administration. So we haven't received Gold Circle quality rating status in a while, so I just wanted to really shout out Principal Madigan and the entire UECS staff. And also Dr. Heinhorst, who was there last year and was also part of this. So congratulations, UECS. Latinx Heritage Month started September 15th. So we kicked it off at Yankee Ridge Multilingual School. They had a parade last week, and you can see the students kind of sharing their flags outside. Urbana Middle School is hosting an event on September 26th for all Urbana families from 5:30 to 7. They have a special speaker coming, Sergio Negri. Will present a workshop in Spanish. It is going to be all in Spanish from 6 to 7 on social emotional learning, leadership habits, and navigating the digital age with students. And CU Marching Showcase is next Monday, the Tiger Marching Band, Central and Centennial Marching Bands, and our special guests, the Marching Illini. Donations are accepted, but admission is free. Monday at McKinley Field, we are hosting it again for the second year in a row at 7 p.m. So food trucks will be on site. It is a great night. The mayor is usually there. We usually have representatives from Champaign Unit 4 as well. So it'll be a great night. It is always a really great event to see our local high schools representing and showing off their skills. Homecoming is also next week. So it came up fast, right? So Spirit Week is next week, and the homecoming parade is Friday, September 27th. And the homecoming game is next Friday, and the parade is Friday afternoon. It starts at 3:30, and the route, as you know, goes down Ray Street to Main, downtown Urbana, Vine, Washington, back to UHS. So homecoming 2024. Hopefully we'll have great weather. Last year it was absolutely perfect, so I'm hoping it will be the same again this year. And Illini football donations. So Sid Lally already mentioned this about our U of I football players who came and were out at King School and brought school supplies for the students, backpacks, gift cards. The players really enjoyed their time interacting with the students there. They just had a great time. This is just a few snippets of pictures, but some of the videos and pictures that they took with the King School students were just really great. Pat Bryant is in this picture, and I don't know if you watch any of the games, but he is really good. So just the fact that he was one of the people who came, we were just like, wow, Pat Bryant was one of the, usually they don't send like the stars. When they send out the football players, we were like, wow. So, yeah, but the kids don't care, when they send out football players, but the adults know. We were like, wow. But yeah, it was a great day. They had a really good time. And upcoming dates, Friday, for all of our parents who are watching, Friday is Staff Development Day, so we have no students in attendance for UECS and our elementary students. UMS and UHS have early dismissal. Also Thursday, I think, is CU Pride Day in the district to prep for CU Pride Parade on Saturday at 1 p.m. DPW and Lille School are recognizing and celebrating their curriculum night. All of our other elementary schools have already had their curriculum nights. And I've already mentioned the UHS Homecoming Pep Rally. We have had our intruder drills have started this week. It's School Safety Week. So today I went with our Urbana Police, Randy and John. We went to Yankee Ridge, Thomas Paine, DPW, and UECS. And we still need to get out to Gerber, King, Leo, UMS, and UHS. So not a fun part of my job, but it is something that is a necessary thing we need to do in our world right now. But it is good to get out in the buildings. I'm glad that we do this. Our students understand what we're doing. Our teachers are empowered to do what they need to do. And it is great to have a partnership with Urbana Police where we can do this together and really work with our principals. And we do a lot of debriefing afterwards. So, yeah. So, yeah. Tori might go with us tomorrow, she said. So, yeah. Yeah.
Are we also debriefing with the kids, like asking them how they feel after?
So I don't do that part, but we ask the teachers do, yes. So the teachers do all of that when they come back in. We ask the principals to debrief with the staff in the next staff meeting that they have. So we come back in the building and we debrief with the administrators. We give them feedback. We talk about the things that they did really well. We talk about things that we would like to see them try next time we come out to the schools. Like today, we had some areas of feedback, things that we felt like areas they could have improved in terms of maybe more people evacuating or people like classrooms where we heard students giggling, where they needed to be quiet, things like that. And so then they take that feedback back to teachers in like staff meetings and talk about it with the staff members, and then the teachers go back and kind of talk to the teachers about it. But when teachers go back into their classrooms as soon as the drills are over, that's where those conversations happen with the kids. So yeah.
Are we sending the information to the parents?
So we send the letter home before the drills happen, and then at that point, the teachers should be communicating after that. So we don't send anything from the district after that. Yeah, after we send the initial letter home.
It occurred to me today because I have a conversation with my son. He was scared, especially because it's the first year in Yankee Ridge, and he knew what to do in Leo, like for instance, kindergarten. He knew how to access to the basement, how to go out, how to hide. So it occurred to me today, like, why we don't send like a little note or a little information for parents to how to talk to the kids after all the drills, just for us to also have the same language that they use in the school, and make it sadly normal in this country to be aware of gun violence, which is really, really horrible to me. And I don't know how to talk that with my son. So.
Yankee Ridge did a great job, actually. So, yeah, we can talk to Patricia about that. Maybe give them something that they can send home. So, yeah. Yep. They went in the basement a little. They didn't do that when I was ever drilled with them. Oh. Got it. Yeah. They did a lot of practicing and prepping at Leo. So
I think they talked about it and practiced, prepped.
They did practicing.
They
We
did a
have a
great job.
great app that we use now. I think the teachers, it was new for everyone at Leo, because it was all new staff, all new administrators, and so they all it was new for everybody, because everyone was new there, so it was a new experience, I think, for everyone there today. But they did a great job. So yeah.
Is that it?
Yep.
We do have a number of FOIA requests that were completed, so please bear with me as I try to plow through these. Alexis Hahn from FOIA Professional Services, RFP name, Food Service Management Company, fixed price per meal contract in the school nutrition programs, issued 1/5/24, awarded to Quest. From Karen Garcia, Smart Procure, employee information, first name, last name, position, title, department, direct phone number, business cell phone, email address, office address. From Sherry Reed at Smart Procure, purchase order, vendor information, purchase order number, purchase date, line item details, line item quantity, line item price, vendor ID number, name, address, contact person, and their email address. From Tom Schroeder. 1, the approved meeting minutes from the June 25th board meeting as required by Section 2.06B of the Open Meetings Act. 2, proposed changes to the 6th grade center project related to IGW Architecture's $425,000 in cost reductions, especially any that deviate from the bid's project specifications. 3, any bills authorized by the August 20th resolution concerning certain capital expenditures, quote, regardless of where they were received or paid before or after that date. 4, previously approved board resolutions that are substantively similar to the certain capital expenditures resolution. And 5, any active agreements regarding employment and compensation terms between the district and the acting CFO, Carol Baker. From DERN, or DERYN, all documents, electronic communications, including email, Google Docs, Teams, Duo, text messages, messaging app messages, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, between Richard Herman and any and all of the following: Preston Williams, Don Owen, Jennifer Ivory Tatum, John Dimmitt, Paul Pulowski. Additionally, all document electronic communications, including email, Google Docs, Teams, Duo, text messages, messaging app messages, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, between David Tichtel and any and all of the following: Preston Williams, Don Owen, Jennifer Ivory Tatum, John Dimmitt, Paul Pulowski. Next and last, from Nivi Srignasa from Beacon Mobility, scan of all current contracts or agreements for student transportation services, whether regular education, special education, home to school, out of district, homeless, vocational, etc., including all attachments, amendments, or pricing schedules. 2, scan of the transportation invoices for any and all transportation services, home to school, special educations, out of district, homeless, preschool, and field trip, etc., including all line item billing details and backup spreadsheets. Please provide invoices from May of 2024. And 3rd, Scan of labor agreement for transportation employees performing services to the district contractor and/or district employees, and any amendment letters, memorandums of understanding, or modifications thereto. It's time for board reports. Does anyone have a board report this evening? Go ahead, Sitlali, you raised your hand first.
For the board report, I want to brag about the mariachi, the middle school, the Tiger Mariachi, I think is middle school and high school. They play in the welcoming kickoff event last Saturday, I think was. It was amazing. They also play on Sunday during the Grito. And I still have a lot of complaints about first the bus to the first, about stopping and like 2 blocks before or after the stop. We now parents in there leaving kids in the street. We now than adults, and others that they still need to change a little bit the roads in order for them to be safe for small kids as well. I wonder if we could have a meeting with, I don't remember the name from the lady who came last time, which is the in charge of the bus. Mm-hmm.
And Shawnee, Deborah. Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, I wonder if we can have a meeting, or I can have a meeting with her just to talk about this, like big issues, because it's more and more coming to my, and I'm not so sure the other members are receiving also complaints about the bus.
Nope, I think, yeah, most of them are your constituents, basically, so yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we can set something up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I, it's not a board report, but I really want to go back to Yankee Ridge and playgrounds and how we can make them safe.
I think that is a meeting you need to have with Ms. Valente and talk about some systems that they could put in place in the morning. But because if we don't have supervision in the morning, I don't know what we can do about that. But yeah, I think that would be something to talk with the principal about.
Anyone else? Board reports. Go ahead, Jennifer.
I just wanted to make a comment. I had planned to vote yes on the budget resolution, and I did, but I had also wanted to, I had some questions and Carol wasn't available. And so I won't ask those questions, but I want us to remember that we voted for a budget that would cost us $662,000 more than we have. That according to the budget thing.
Yes, but according to what Carol presented last time, we carried forward $6 million in the black from last year. So our balance sheet should be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I just want us to remember that our budget assumption states in number 26, no new expenditures will be added to the budget unless a source of revenue or decrease in expenditure is identified. So we have to keep this in mind while we're thinking about all sorts of decisions.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other board reports?
I'm beginning to stock the food pantry here at Adult Ed, Tiger Market, Tiger Academy, and also at the high school. We did get our funding restored, not as much as we had hoped to from Eastern Illinois. We got about $3,000, and that doesn't really cover a lot when you're covering 10 months or 9 to 10 months. We also have a separate account from donations, grants, through Altrusa, and that's additional about $4,500. So that will certainly help. But the Lucia and Louisiana have given us a list of things that they want to have at the pantry on a permanent basis, and I'm hoping that we can advertise those so that if anybody's interested in donating rice, beans, et cetera, there'll be a whole list, and if somebody wants to donate some food, that would certainly help our budget last through the whole year. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Board reports. I got a couple real quick. First of all, it kind of stuck up me because the state changed the election calendar a bit, but it's now on our district website. There's a link that describes the Board of Education subdistrict information for the elections that are happening in the spring. You can circulate petitions now. It's available now, and the petitions are due, I believe, by November 12th. Between November 12th and 18th at the county clerk's office. The subdistricts that are open are subdistricts 1, 2, 4, and 6. So if anybody is interested in running for the school board and beginning their service in May, the election is in April, but the forms can be circulated now and are due November 12th. One last board report is I had the pleasure of having a conversation with the graduate level class in public planning last week. I had a lot of great conversations on how to collect constituent input and do strategic planning on mainly facilities projects, but it's just in general. It was a great conversation and kind of reminded me we've got a lot of work to do with regards to our strategic planning process and trying to come up with ways to allow the public to give us constructive input for all our decisions. Any other board reports? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. We'll see you October 1st. Oh, my apologies. Thanks for catching me. I should have said that. So one of the requirements for the state for a budget resolution is that